In the great chamber of the alien council, thousands of voices rose like thunder. The walls shook with the sound of laughter and mockery. At the center of the room, a giant display showed the result of the vote. Humans were now banned from every Deathworld. Aliens cheered and clapped their claws, fins and metallic hands, certain that their decision was wise. One after another, leaders shouted that humans were reckless, dangerous, and too unstable to be trusted on deadly worlds. Some called them fragile, others called them fools, but all agreed humanity must be contained. In the corner, the human delegation sat in silence. They did not shout, they did not move. Their faces were calm, but their eyes were sharp like cold steel. The silence itself was strange. It cut through the noise of the chamber, forcing some aliens to glance their way. Finally, the human ambassador rose slowly, his footsteps echoing in the hall. He did not raise his voice, yet the chamber seemed to grow quiet. Every word carried weight as he said, "You think you have banned us from Deathworlds? You already banned us from our home." He paused, his eyes sweeping across the council as their laughter died. Then he spoke the words that froze every creature in their seats. "We call it Earth." Gasps filled the chamber. The room, that had moments before overflowed with arrogance, now sank into silence as the meaning of his words began to take hold. Whispers spread like fire through the long corridors of the alien council halls. The vote was finished, yet no one spoke of victory anymore. Instead, the question lingered in every shadow. What did the human mean by Earth being a death world? In hidden rooms, alien senators met in secret. Some scoffed, saying it was only human pride, a trick to frighten them. Others leaned closer, eyes wide, and whispered that the records might already prove it true. Old data archives, long ignored, told of storms on Earth that swallowed fleets, oceans that crushed machines, forests where a single insect could kill in minutes. Yet somehow billions of humans lived there as if it were nothing. An elder alien muttered, "No species should survive a world like that." Another replied in dread, "Not only survive, they thrived. They built cities, fleets, and weapons under skies that would kill us in moments." The fear grew heavier when a courier rushed in, carrying a report marked urgent. The councillors read it in silence. It spoke of alien scouts who had once tried to land on Earth. Their suits cracked, their lungs failed, and not one survived longer than ours. The humans never spoke of it, never warned them. They had simply watched. For the first time, the mighty council looked at each other with unease. The question was no longer if Earth was a death world. The question was, what kind of beings could call it home? A shadow passed across Earth's blue oceans as a colossal alien warship entered orbit. Its hull stretched for miles, bristling with cannons and shields. From the ground, humans watched with calm eyes, their cities reflecting the glare of the vessel above. News feeds across the galaxy broadcast the event, calling it a show of power, a warning to humanity. The alien admirals believed Earth would tremble at the sight of such might. Inside the ship, alien soldiers prepared for landing. Their commanders laughed, saying this mission would prove humans weak. "We will walk their ground and show them what true strength looks like," one captain declared. Their landing craft roared through the atmosphere, flames trailing as they cut across the skies. But when they touched down, everything changed. The gravity pressed like iron chains, heavier than their strongest suits could endure. Storm winds tore through their ranks, lightning splitting the sky above. Strange cries echoed from the forests, unseen predators circling in the shadows. The soldiers stumbled, their breaths short, their armor cracking under pressures they had never trained for. On the distant hills, humans stood silently watching. Children pointed at the struggling soldiers, while adults remained still, their faces calm, unshaken. No words were spoken. Moments later, the alien flagship received a broken signal from the ground. The voice of a soldier, desperate, gasping, "You never told us." Earth itself is alive. The transmission ended in static, and silence filled the stars. Alien scientists crowded around glowing screens, their eyes wide as data poured in from the teams that had stepped foot on Earth. The reports were worse than anyone had imagined. The soil itself carried toxins strong enough to kill entire species. Plants dripped with venom, their thorns sharp as blades. Insects carried venom so quick that one sting could stop a heart in seconds. Predators moved through forests with speed and strength unmatched on any known world. Earth was not just dangerous, it was a nightmare given form. Yet the images that followed broke the scientists' courage even more. They saw human children running barefoot through the grass, laughing as if nothing could harm them. Farmers worked calmly, guiding heavy machines through fields where alien drones had already failed. Soldiers trained in open storms, rain striking their armor like hammers, their voices steady, their march never faltering. What killed other species in minutes was daily life for humans, an old alien biologist whispered, trembling. They don't fight Earth. They grew with it. They are part of it. Others turned pale, realizing the truth. Humanity's strength was not luck or machines, it was adaptation. They were molded by the most hostile world in the galaxy, and they had learned to master it. In a quiet council chamber, one alien senator leaned close to another and said in dread, "If this is how they live on Earth, what happens when they bring Earth's fury into space?" No one dared to answer. Rumors swept across the galaxy faster than light. Every empire, every outpost, every fleet now spoke of one thing, Earth. The whispers were not of weakness, but of fear. Reports leaked from spies who had dared to orbit the blue planet. They claimed to have seen vast shipyards hidden in Earth's shadow. Colossal frames of steel, rising like mountains, each forged from metals hardened by Deathworld storms. Soon, long-range scans confirmed the truth. Human warships, giant beyond measure, slipped from dockyards cloaked in silence. They did not announce themselves, they did not boast. They simply drifted outward, their engines glowing faintly like embers, waiting to become fire. The galaxy had seen warships before, but nothing like these. Ships designed not to intimidate, but to survive the impossible. Alien admirals watched in dread. A single human carrier looked less like a vessel and more like a floating fortress. The smaller frigates flanking it were shaped with brutal simplicity, armored so thick no weapon had yet tested it. Still, humanity made no declaration of war. Their silence was louder than any threat. Then a new transmission arrived at the council. It was broken, filled with static, but the images were clear, an entire alien fleet drifting in ruins near the asteroid belt. The last frame showed shadows of human warships glowing in the dark, their hulls untouched. In the council hall, fear spread like a storm. For the first time, the question was no longer whether humans were dangerous, it was who would survive when they finally chose to speak. The alien council could not remain still any longer. Fear had turned into desperation. If humanity would not explain itself, then the galaxy would force them to. A coalition was formed, 5 great empires sending their strongest fleets. Hundreds of warships gathered at the edge of Earth's system, their lights burning in the dark like a wall of fire. Admirals spoke with confidence, promising that humanity would bend or break. The demand was sent. Surrender your fleets, or face destruction. The words echoed across every human broadcast channel, translated into every tongue. The galaxy watched, certain this was the end of Earth's silence, but when the human reply came, it was not anger, not fear. The message was a single sentence, calm and cold. Step closer and Earth will decide if you belong here. The words struck harder than any weapon. Alien captains whispered nervously, but the order was given, advance. Slowly, the massive wall of ships began to close around Earth, weapons charging, engines burning bright. Then, for the first time, humanity moved. From the darkness of the void, Earth's fleet came alive. Warships the size of cities powered up, their drives glowing like newborn suns. Their formation was silent, perfect, terrifying in its stillness. In the command halls of the coalition, panic spread. The admirals had expected speeches, threats, perhaps fear. They had not expected this, a fleet forged in silence, waiting only for the first strike, and then the void itself trembled as Earth's ships began to advance. The coalition thought the battle would be won in space. But when their warships pressed closer, they unleashed shock troops to the ground, believing Earth would crumble under direct assault. Drop pods rained through the skies, slamming into forests, deserts, and mountains. Thousands of alien soldiers poured out, armed with plasma and steel, expecting quick victory. Instead, the planet itself rose against them. Forests twisted with hidden predators. Venomous insects slipped into armor seams, stinging until soldiers fell screaming. Storms erupted without warning, tearing apart landing craft, lightning splitting the skies with blinding fury. Earth did not welcome intruders. It consumed them. Through the chaos, human soldiers advanced. They moved as if the storms were nothing, their boots sinking into mud, rifles steady, eyes cold. To the aliens it was madness. Gravity that bent their spines left humans standing tall. Winds that shredded wings barely ruffled the cloaks of human snipers. What was death to others was routine for them. On one battlefield, an alien commander gasped as his troops fell not only to Earth's wrath, but to disciplined human fire. He realized the truth in horror. These warriors were not just soldiers, they were children of the Deathworld. High above, the coalition fleet received frantic calls for help, voices filled with terror and disbelief. And then the stars themselves ignited as Earth's massive warships opened fire, their cannons splitting the void with fire brighter than suns. The war had truly begun.